The Turkish Grand Prix is back on the Formula 1 calendar for a second year in a row. As described by a friend of the show, James, it was the driest wet race in history. Very strange. Also in this week's show, we cover the penultimate weekend of the British Touring Car Championship from Donington Park, in which Ash Sutton strengthened his grip on this year's title. My name is Colin, and as always I'm joined by Nick and by Tom. Start off with a bit of news. It looks like the Alfa Romeo will be leaving the grid or changing hands, or I'm not really sure. Andretti Motorsport looking line to buy the Alfa Romeo F1 team, which of course is the Sauber Group F1 team, with a naming deal with Alfa Romeo. It looks like the deal's going to go through pretty soon, according to Autosport.com and a couple other websites. Bit of a out of left field one. I didn't even hear about it until you brought it up, Nick.
Yeah, it's a weird one. Seems a strange time to get into it, but yeah, so I'm not sure if they're going to buy into it being Alfa Romeo still. So there'll be Andretti instead of Sauber, but still sponsored by Alfa Romeo and still called Alfa Romeo, or if he wants to take over the team and rebrand it as Andretti.
Didn't we talk about recently how the Alfa Romeo sponsorship deal was renewed for next year on a rolling basis? Yeah. So, regardless of ownership, it might, unless they want to buy out that sponsorship deal or something, it might still be called Alfa Romeo. But it's just,
I think it definitely has to be for the next year or two.
Yeah,
I just don't know what the long-term plans are going to be.
Well, if I was them, I'd be trying to bring in some American-focused sponsors and backers. That would make sense. That would fit in with the Andretti thing. Although, haven't they just got sponsorship by in IndyCar, DHL, the big, I think the German postage company. So that's not very American. So I suppose, yeah, it could go anyway. We'd have to read into the nationality of the owners to guess the team name or sponsors. I suppose we could speculate on the drivers, though.
Next, do you think that they want to bring over IndyCar, one or two IndyCar drivers in the team set up?
Colton Herta was the person that was rumoured, but presumably not for next year because we don't think he has the super license points. So next year is still open, but I think long term, if they do buy the team, they want an American driver.
Would make sense.
Looks like Colton Herta, depending on how you count his FIA points, might get a super license next year if they count his Indy Lights championship, which I'm not sure is really counted at the level that they need it to.
Yeah, because it's lower points for that, isn't it? Yeah,
but because he had one season that's an IndyCar that scores real low in the FIA system. But if his Indy Lights season counts, that's an extra 12 points, I think, which would take him to the limit that he needs to reach.
He was the best Andretti driver in IndyCar this year. Although Andretti not on an amazing run of form in IndyCar. Other teams seems to be doing better at the minute. So I'm batting really for Chaz Mostert, who is their driver in Australian Supercars, which will be a complete left turn. But wouldn't it just be amazing, as an aside, to have some touring car or GT drivers just go that are really good in those respective fields to try out Formula 1? It'll never happen.
Tom Chilton.
Yeah, Tom Chilton. That was the first name that came to mind. Brilliant.
Oh, Chilton Motorsport, bring back Max as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, who does part-time driving in IndyCar as it happens? So there's a link, I suppose.
Yeah.
I think it'll be interesting to get some proper investment in that team because they've been a shambles this year on and off track.
Yeah, some of the organisational errors are real rookie. You can't be perfect all the time, but not ideal.
But I think it's a shame that they're buying a team rather than setting up a new team. Because I think we're desperately needing new teams. Because if you look at the pipeline of young talent that can't get a seat in F1 next year, that's basically just getting left out to dry. Even Mercedes are forming the Formula E team, so there's drivers there that were in line for F1 seats and are just sat with nothing to go to.
The Formula E thing's interesting, because that would give paid gigs to drivers who weren't quite good enough for F1, or there wasn't a seat available, or transitioned from other series, and that field is scaling back, or maybe the manufacturer money is being removed from that series next season. Plus, like you say, not enough cars on the grid potentially. We need Mauritia back. Is that what you're saying?
Manor.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Sorry.
Bring back HRT, Super Aguri,
Oh, yeah.
Super
Midland
Aguri.
F1.
Oh, man.
I think financially, though, it makes more sense for them to... Because he's not buying the
Yeah.
entire team. I think he wants to buy the majority shareholding of the team.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's 200 million, I believe, that you have to pay to enter a new team in F1.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
So if it's less than that, plus you've already got all the facilities there, you don't have to build them up yourself.
No.
It
No, it
makes
makes
much more
sense.
financially.
So they'll own a Swiss-based team, which is interesting.
Yeah,
Andretti.
It's not a tax dodge, this full thing, is it?
it could be.
You
It's
said
not like
that, not
when-
me.
Yeah, it's not like when Jimmy Carr was a used car salesman at the weekends. It's not one of those jobs, is it?
Let's hope not. Let's hope it's they're fully invested in it. And I don't know if they'll use... Well, who knows what their actual management structure will be. It might just stay the same, right?
It's true.
Or
And
it could not.
I was just going to say that it is just a rumour.
Yeah.
We have no definitive proof this is happening, but
Or contacts.
true.
Google has given us information and I'm taking it as gospel.
I think, again, I'm going back to Supercars in Australia. They invested and put their name, Andretti name, within the team name, but they're hands off. The existing and Walkinshaw lot are still running the team, and Ryan Walkinshaw still picking the drivers and working on the sponsors. So it could be a relationship like that, because surely Andretti will spend most of their time in America with their American stuff, or trying to find another Formula E team after they got the BMW
Yeah.
withdrew. So yeah, fascinating timing.
The only more bit of news is I think they confirmed the calendar for next year, 23 races. It's not really surprising. The tracks on it. But I think we're due one more sprint this year because they said they're going to do 3.
Brazil.
That's definitely going to be Brazil.
If Brazil goes ahead, it's supposed to be Brazil as the sprint race.
Right. Whoop whoop.
Yeah. Qualifying. Q1, Mazepin, Raikkonen, Giovinazzi, Latifi, and then the 2 shockers was Ricardo out in P16 and Mick Schumacher making it through.
Yeah.
Well done to Mick. That was a superb effort. He was very, very pleased, and rightly so. Because, as you saw, Colin, in real life, this Haas car is miles behind everybody.
It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
How slow it is.
Yeah.
So that's a hell of a result. Weather assisted, but still.
When the opportunity's there, you've got to take it. And Mazepin
Yeah.
didn't.
Exactly, yeah. You can only measure him against his teammate, really, and he, was miles ahead.
3 seconds.
And I'm going to revert back on Ricardo and say we should write him off for the year. He's like Bottas. My opinion of him swings week to week. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, that's not a good one.
Q2, Sainz didn't start because I think he swapped his engine.
Mm-hmm.
So just got through to Q2 and then gave Leclerc a tow
Yeah.
for his lap to get him through to Q3. Mick
Clever.
went out, as did George, Ocon and Vettel. So Yuki Tsunoda made it through.
Good old Yuki. That's a best one for a
Yeah.
long time. But George, unfortunately, messed up the final corner.
Yeah.
Dead.
May or may not have been good enough for Q3.
Who knows? I thought the radio messages afterwards were quite like... I would have said to him, oh, well, we don't know, but it would have been a good lap. But they were just like, nope, yeah, you messed up there.
Yeah, you're leaving it at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Can't be bothered to sugarcoat it now.
Then Q3 was Hamilton takes the fastest lap. I'm not going to say pole position because that was a whole big thing on Saturday.
Was it?
Hamilton's fastest, but he takes a 10 points good penalty for an engine swap, an internal combustion engine swap.
Did it not count as pole position then? In
No.
the record books?
Bottas
Apparently
gets
not.
pole position.
Oh. But Hamilton
Pole
got the tyre.
position is the person who starts the race at the front, is what they were saying on the commentary.
Right.
Yeah.
So why is Hamilton getting the award?
He gave it to Valtteri afterwards.
Yes,
a
it
little
was
note
taken
on it.
back.
That's awkward as hell.
He wrote a little note on it saying, enjoyed my tyre. So, Bottas gets pole, Verstappen 3rd, Leclerc 4th, Gasly 5th, Alonso I thought done mega to get 6th.
Yeah.
Yep.
Perez, rubbish to get 7th. Usual. And then, Norris 8th. McLaren wasn't really on it this weekend.
No, Bad weekend for McLaren, I would say, pace-wise. Not really anywhere at any point. Ferrari were quicker.
Not a track they're meant to be very good with. Apparently it's the medium length, long corners that they really struggle with. Or sorry, medium speed, long corners. And that's what Turkey is.
I see. So this is Anis Rublis. Right, okay, well, fair enough. But it's still not ideal when they're fighting for third in the constructors.
No, exactly.
Leclerc, that's a superb lap in fourth, and Gasly in fifth. Your mate Gasly, Colin, doing well up there, representing.
Yeah. What happened to your mate Giovinazzi?
Oh, well, he out-qualified his teammate, so there we go, bonus points.
True.
Who was actually, we should touch upon it, who was very annoyed about stuff in, was it practice? About
Yes.
drinking, and everyone was like, oh, it's Kimmy in the drink, and like, oh, hey, it's Kimmy. And I was a bit like, that's actually quite rude. It's a bit far. And the fact it's the word "your" that stood out to me. Like if he was actually part of the team and it were working together, he wouldn't say that. It would say just say the drinks leaking, and it's very annoying. But it wasn't even qualifying of the race, right? It's just practice. Your drinking system's rubbish.
It does sound like he personally blames his own race engineer as well.
It does. Yeah.
It's your fault.
I think Kimmy's gave up.
Yeah.
Just wants out. There's a former F1 team boss who was at Williams, I think, early 90s, does media work now. He's got a YouTube channel. Oh, his name's gone. He was in the car with Frank Williams when he had his crash.
Oh, yeah. I know the guy.
Not Patrick Head.
No. I do know the guy, and Peter Windsor. I got it.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, he was doing a video. I think he does videos after every race and weekend, and he was doing a video saying that if he was still team boss, he would have sacked.
Yeah, get Kubica in the car.
Well, he says he would have got Guan Yu Zhou in the car and just gave him a run to the end of the season.
It's not that straightforward because All-In is all over the car. So it would definitely be Kubica.
Yeah.
But I'd actually prefer that at this point, as savage as that seems.
Yeah. I thought sacking him's a bit harsh, but Kimmy, I think, probably needs put back in line.
Yeah. Do you remember when he used to fell out with Lotus? Did he even not do the last race of Lotus that he did? Could be wrong on that one.
When he went back to Ferrari?
Well, yeah, when he went back to Ferrari again, I feel like he might have missed a race at Lotus just because he fell out.
Surgery on his back, I'm sure.
Right,
There was a race that D'Ambrosio was in for, but I can't remember if it was Kimi or...
Right, well, I've sent us down a rabbit hole there. Tweet,
yeah, that's true.
Final Corner Pod. Is that the right handle?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, he missed the last two races for Lotus because he had back surgery.
Right, but he'd also fallen out with the team at the time, and I was always sceptical towards that.
Well, yeah, because they were refusing to pay him because they signed up to a ridiculous bonus structure that almost bankrupted the team, and he wanted his money.
Yeah. So he might have had the back surgery just timed for post-season, right? But then just anyway, that was qualifying, and 2012 or 13.
Yeah, I do think Kimmy's obviously gave up. And someone needs to calm him down. So, race. I made a rather rude prediction, Valtteri, and I apologise. I said after qualifying that your job was to keep Max behind you, and I gave him to the 50-metre board at turn 1 for it to slide, given his recent defences.
So his radio message is aimed at you.
It is. I am the man.
For a collie bar.
Yeah.
F you.
Two races ago, I praised him to hell. Last week, I slated him, and this week, I'm going to apologise. He done a great job. He got a decent start, kept Max behind, and Verstappen couldn't ever touch him on pace.
Yeah, so it was in the start that was key, and then he was quick enough. He had the little gap after lap 1, which clearly must inspire confidence in him that, oh, right, this is it. This is the chance. Or it could be the fact that he knows Hamilton's down in the grid. Right, this is my one shot. I'm off to Alfa Romeo Andretti next year. So let's make the most of it. Whatever it was, it motivated him. If you remember last year when he spun around a million times and it was a disaster, wasn't it?
Oh, God, yeah.
So this time, different person turned up.
Well done, Valtteri.
Amazing drive in the end, actually, I would say.
It was, I think.
Yeah, even when Leclerc's in front, he didn't fluster. Pulled a nice overtake. To get back the lead again. So
yeah, I think it was his first win since, was it Sochi last year? I think
so,
it was.
It definitely hasn't won this year.
he hasn't ever been close to winning this year. So, well done. He did everything right. Everything perfect.
Was quicker than Max,
Verstappen.
so...
Yeah,
Yeah.
Verstappen just couldn't touch him.
Yep.
There's ongoing accusations about Mercedes' engine, but I don't think...
Oh, and
that's-
something to do with the front wing or something.
Yeah.
Oh, it always.
It moves. There's pictures going around. I saw on Instagram of it in different positions. I think working very, very quick in a straight line in free practice in the dry,
Yeah.
extraordinarily quick. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it
So
could be that
that's-
other teams have got a lot of wing on.
Well, all the teams went to the FIA to ask for something to have a look at the Mercedes engine, and I think that was clarified or rejected this week, basically. Red Bull were adamant it wasn't an appeal that they raised or anything, or protest. They just asked for clarification, and that was knocked out. But there's even stories been coming out of, I'm assuming, the Red Bull camp of the...
Helmut Marko's been on the phone again.
Yeah, exactly. Saying that the engine sounds weird.
Oh,
this
well,
is
that's
all-
there we go. That's it.
This is the usual.
It could
Red
simply
Bull
be that
deflecting.
they've turned it up a bit because they've got brand new engines in both of those cars over the last couple of races.
Oh, it could be they've been
No.
sandbagging all year.
Well,
There must
that
be
as well.
must be cheating.
Yeah, sorry. Shouldn't worry about the actual truth.
Yeah. So that was the latest bit of team drama this week. But yeah, well done, Bottas. Elsewhere at the start, there was 3 wide going through turn 1 with Gasly, Alonso and Perez. Perez on the inside, Alonso on the outside. Gasly runs wide, spins Alonso round and picks up a 5-second penalty.
Mm-hmm.
Which I always think it's a little harsh at the start, but
I felt it was a
Yeah.
bit harsh.
there was space on his left, but
Yeah,
it's tricky.
he did kind of understeer into him, but then it was horrible conditions, untested.
Yeah, Perez is on the left as well.
Yeah, it was quite far to his left though.
It was.
relatively. It was like there was another half, maybe full car's width, but you know,
Felt it was a bit harsh. I mean, good move from Perez, really. There was actually a bit of... Everyone's focusing on Gasly and Alonso, but Perez stuck it down the inside of 2 cars, effectively, and got it done.
Yeah.
That which helped his race
yeah,
immeasurably,
definitely.
demonstrably.
Alonso then got his anger out, I think, at that point by then hitting Mick Schumacher about 3 corners later and spinning him.
That was a
That
solid
one
penalty.
was deserved.
Yeah.
Yeah, he came from about 4 million miles back to just whack into the side of him.
Now, did you see the comments of Alonso? They were pretty outrageous before the race. So I think he got that penalty because he's Spanish, right? I think that's what he was insinuating.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. But was this the whole fallout from Russia,
Yes.
yes, it was.
where he did not get a penalty for cutting
Correct.
the corner,
Correct.
but he was annoyed that...
His response to the question of why didn't you get a penalty and why did you practice it on the warm-up lap was, well, Norris is British, so he didn't get a penalty for the pit entry.
Just push that one aside.
It's kind of clever in a way because, and I think it's clearly premeditated.
Yeah.
Because it's a controversial statement that's out there and that's getting the headlines, not the fact that he didn't get a penalty.
Yeah,
Anyway,
Yeah.
that Alonso, in the race. He got spun and then spun someone else.
mm-hmm.
I must apologise, someone decided to start hammering nails at him, the joining wall between me and my neighbours.
I thought it was Eric.
No. And our professional recording studio here isn't dampening the sound enough. I don't
Yeah.
Who decides to do DIY at 9 p.m. at night?
It's either that or they're really pissed off about me speaking loudly in my recording studio.
Yeah.
Dario Franchitti knocking the wall through.
Yeah. Yeah, I need to speak to you about that after this podcast.
Okay.
It's an off-air discussion. Hamilton overtakes Gasly around the outside at one point. Nice move.
Yeah, that was nice, but Yuki held him back for a few laps. So I was like, where's the Gasly defence? But I suppose he caught him at the
Yeah.
perfect slipstream to just get past him on the straight almost. But Yuki did well to hold him up for a little bit. I think he came out afterwards saying, I was doing everything I can to help Max. But the other
Yeah.
Red Bull... Oh, no, I suppose Perez did as well later on.
It was a good defence though, because Lewis basically caught him unawares.
Yep.
He went to turn in and realised Lewis was there, and just stuck it around the outside for the next couple of corners and kept the place.
Yeah, it was nice.
It was good.
Yeah, the thing about it was is fighting at least 4 other cars now that are helping Max.
Yeah.
Both half times. And Helmut Marko says that Alonso is trying to help Max as well because he doesn't like Lewis.
And Valtteri.
And
Yeah, Valtteri's just...
yeah.
Well, in the commentary I watched, they were insinuating, and Lewis is coming up on Stroll now, he's going to help him out. But I don't think he did.
No.
I don't think
No.
Aston Martin's is, and I don't think they're quick enough to anyway.
No.
I think the Toro Rosso, AlphaTauri is quicker than the Aston Martin. I went back in time there.
I think in the past when they were Force India, they were a little bit of a Mercedes B team for some things.
Yeah.
But definitely not now, I don't think.
Not with that Stroll money. It's Lance Stroll first.
Yeah.
Priority.
Thank God for Carlos Sainz
Oh, yes.
and Lewis Hamilton, to be fair.
Mm-mm.
Nothing else happened apart from Sainz making a bunch of overtakes.
I'd like to see a
Thank you,
supercut of just Sainz's first half of the race, please. Thanks.
Yeah.
Please do that, F1 social media manager who obviously listens to this.
Yeah.
We know the BTCC social media manager listens to this, so
Yeah.
so he went from I think 19th to 11th within the first 11 laps. There was one slightly sketchy overtake on Vettel where he got a bit cross-armed through I think it was the hairpin.
Yeah.
And gave Vettel a little clunk, but apart from that, everything was clean, precise. A lot of them were on the brakes, so he was brave.
Yeah.
Going
On the
offline
inside
for
as
there.
well. Not
Yeah.
necessarily on the wet line, right? It was
Yeah.
like it was dry. I don't know how he had the confidence to outbrake so late on the inside of turn 12. Well, with the Vettel one, he had to use a bit of the curb on the inside, and that was definitely sketchy.
Yeah.
But impressive.
Yeah, some very good late braking manoeuvres from him in that one.
It was a Daniel Ricciardo of old race, I felt.
I was going to say like a Tom Harrison Lord move.
No, because I would bundle off some person into the gravel or crumble 2 laps later.
I'm not on my roof. It can't be one of those. Oh dear. So Hamilton makes good progress, and then he catches Perez, and then we'll probably get the moment of the race where Hamilton tries to go round it outside the turn 12 from Perez. Sergio fights it back.
Ooh, yeah.
Hamilton gets inside for 13 and pushes Perez over the pit entrance around the bollard, which you're not supposed to cross.
You're allowed to do it now, though, because of Norris.
Yeah, it's all
Yeah.
allowed. So Sergio fights back, coming back round the bollard, gets inside for the final corner, and then manages to hold position into turn 1, which I thought was really, really well done for Perez.
It was.
I've been slating him a lot recently, and that was really great defence.
I am slightly annoyed that as an aside, yeah, good battle. I agree. The most annoying thing about Perez is every time he's in a good position, which this season is not that often. Sorry, someone has to mention how good he is at saving tyres.
Yeah.
I know he has been in the past, but we don't need to mention it every single time he's in contention for 5th. Watch out! He's good at the tyres. It's like, yeah, but what? Hang about this. This is going to be harsh, but what if he's not able to extract the maximum from the tyres, and therefore sometimes it looks like he's saving tyres like a, I don't know, what saving tyres like a what?
Yeah, that's a good question.
No, I don't know either.
No.
Saving tyres like Leno saves penalties. That doesn't work, does it?
No, definitely not.
Especially because I thought you meant Jay Leno for a minute. One thing that was interesting with that was my AWS watch again.
Oh, yes, I love this.
On lap 21, they said 4 laps for Hamilton to catch Perez. And by lap 34, he did.
Oh.
So it was only, 9 laps longer than they said it would be. And
Yeah,
he
and
still didn't get to overtake him.
they lost my parcel this week for the first time. I had to do live chat today. It actually said on the app, it's 8 stops away, and then never turned up 3 days later.
Oh dear. So basically, Amazon ditched the pointless F1 graphics and find Tom Spinell new underpants or whatever it is he's ordered.
Yes, because I ordered underpants from Amazon.
Oh dear. Those Amazon graphics are hopeless. But I understand it's money in someone's pocket. So
Yep.
Yeah.
that's why they're there. Well, at 37, we start to get the pits from the front runners, Max pits. And then at 38, Vettel tries to go into the medium tyres and gives us all 4 minutes of hilarity as
Yes.
he tries to go around, well, everything, basically, without spinning. And I think it was worth a gamble because he was outside the top 10 there, but the track just wasn't drying. It was
Weird.
It was quite odd.
I suppose last year it didn't. It was like ice, and this year it's just wet all the time. It went off at every corner, I think. I swear on the graphic it was like yellow flag, yellow flag. Yeah, there's yellow flag in sector 1, yellow flag in sector 2.
Yeah. Couldn't even make it into the pits.
No.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that, yeah.
He almost reversed into the pit lane.
Yeah.
Very lucky not
Andy
to...
maneuver.
Yeah, very lucky not to smash into the wall there. Did either of you see the camera person celebrating Max Verstappen's pit stop?
Yeah. He knew he was on camera. That was all for show.
I heard them mention it, and I meant to rewind to see what they said, but I forgot about it.
I was either celebrating it's a quick pit stop, or he really likes Max Verstappen and his non-partisan.
Yeah.
He was just like, yeah, woo.
That man wanted to be a meme, and I think he's got his wish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very gift-worthy.
Fair play to him. So Leclerc goes along, as does Hamilton. Leclerc asks, on this pace, where will I finish up?
Oh, classic.
And his race engineer's response was, if you keep Bottas behind, you'll finish P1. Which is the most obvious statement ever given by anyone, ever.
I know.
And I wanted to hear the radio message after that, where Leclerc just goes, what are you talking about? I know that. Tell me where I'm likely to finish. So he goes along, but eventually I think he pits like 13 laps before the end or something.
Yeah.
Hamilton also goes along, and at this point, he's adamant he wants to keep going. The team keep calling him in, and eventually they call him in a final time because he's about to lose his gap to Gasly, who's sitting in P6. He pits, 8 laps to go, comes out, has no grip, his tyre's green, and Gasly actually almost passes him.
Yeah.
Apart from the final lap or two where he finally got through the grading phase, but too little too late.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was sitting in P3 at that point and ended up dropping to 5th. And yeah, a bit of a no man's land strategy. I'll let you guys have a crack at this.
They told him
what
to
did you
come
think?
in on, I think it was lap 41. And at that point, he would have had time to make use of the fresh tyres after they'd grained and then come back to him. But as he thought at the time, it's worth staying out. And then I think they had to bring him in, personally. If you leave him out there, I think mostly because of the title. If you leave him out there and a tyre blows, you lose potentially bodywork, bits of the car, and all of your points. And that can completely knacker your championship.
Yeah.
Whereas bring him in, maybe sacrifice a couple of places, but still get good points.
But if he'd have stayed out and the tyre stayed, he would have been third, do we think?
Not necessarily, because Ocon did that, and his tyres went completely off a cliff with 2 or 3 laps to go, and he lost a couple of places and lost loads of time. But
true. That's what Hamilton's thinking, though, right?
Yes.
And last year he had this tyre-saving masterclass, right? That won him the race. But they were basically bald, weren't they, at this point? I mean, the mad thing about the tyres was, on lap 21, Ocon's front right tyre was completely bereft of tread. And they managed to make the whole race. That was mad. I think at the time I was siding with Lewis to actually stay out, and I could see why he was a bit mad. But now you've explained it to me, Nick. In that if they pitted earlier and got through the graining phase, he could have had a crack at Leclerc at least, right?
Yeah, but at the time I still agreed with Lewis as well. But it was just in hindsight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in the heat of the moment, I was like, "Yes, stay out. What are you doing?" I see, because Perez and Leclerc also pitted, that was the time to go, wasn't it? I think.
Mm-hmm. Did you see Ocon's tyre as well?
At the end, no, I didn't.
Yeah.
I only saw it at lap 21 where it was really bad, so I can't imagine what it's like.
There was a big hole in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was terrible.
Was he the only one to non-stop?
He was.
Wow,
there was a fact about it as well, about Mika Salo or someone was the last one in 1990 something.
Oh, interesting. Well, that's a relative term. It was half a fact.
Yeah.
It was half a fact. I mean, I don't have the fact
it was
either.
half a fact.
If you take the championship out of it, they've got to go at the end. They've either got to pit with Max and just shadow him, or they've got to go at the end. But you're right. If you take the championship into consideration, it's the Ash Sutton mentality, the Colin Tuckerton mentality of old. Bag fifth instead of risking third.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
If you remove the championship, they should absolutely go for third. But
so he's got 6 points behind Max now. It's not the end of the world, is it? In fact, that's more than the gap between first and second place in points. So it's far from a disaster, I think.
no, but every point will be precious, as we know,
Of course.
relatively soon.
Yeah, it's getting to that stage, isn't it? I would like to say as well, apparently, that Giovinazzi, great driver P11 there. Best driver of the race, clearly. Driver of the day.
Of the day.
Yeah. Apparently he saved up his energy, but the team didn't tell him it was the last lap.
Yes.
And that's another small thing along with the water bottle. I think, do you know what? Upon reflection about Raikkonen's front, it's not about the water thing, is it? It's about all these little procedural errors throughout the season, which are very small and seem disorganised. Did he have something down his back in the Monaco Grand Prix?
And that was also the drinks.
Oh, there you go.
The
Right.
drinks thing came loose and went down the back of his overalls.
And there's been all sorts of things of missed opportunities of points and stuff.
Yeah. The drink spot, I think that was the third time. And Raikkonen, I think, said in practice, it was actually poured into his helmet, so he disconnected it and it poured into his boots.
Yeah.
So, to be fair, it must be a pretty simple part of the car, the drinks bottle, but
I just
he
think
needs to calm it down.
He does, but I just think another operational procedure there, error for Alfa Romeo, cost him a point potentially, by the sound of things.
When Kimi joined the team, Sauber at that point were flying high. They had that great car the second half of that season, and then he joined, and last year they were the third, fourth worst team.
So is it his fault?
This year they're the second worst team. So yeah, can't imagine it's been very fun.
And I've just seen the Ocon tyre, and oh my word!
Yeah,
That's
exactly. How did
that's
he finish that race?
That's through a layer of rubber, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the canvas underneath.
Oh my god!
Lewis's tyres were showing canvas as well when they came off, but not like that. There were tiny little holes, but the canvas was starting to come through.
Wow. Well, that's the context we needed to make the decision about pitting. But in the race, I was like, nah, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Come on, Bono, sort it out.
Yeah. So, championship update, as you say, 6 points ahead. Verstappen. Bottas is pretty much cemented third now at this
How many
point.
points behind the lead is he, just out of interest?
He is
Quick maths.
85.5.
Oh, right, he's out of it then.
How are you thinking of late season charge?
I was thinking if he wins every race.
Yeah. He's got third, pretty
Yeah.
much. He's ahead of he's ahead of Norris now.
Yep.
The interesting one is between Sainz and Leclerc. There's a half point between them.
Yeah.
Oh, the old half point.
When you think about it, Sainz going in and effectively matching Leclerc on his first season is incredible.
Yep.
It is.
He's a good driver. Really good driver. One of the best.
And everyone else who switched teams has struggled to get used to their cars, and he's just gone straight in.
That's a good point, yeah.
He does think Leclerc will be ahead of him in the championship, though. There was a moment on one of the F1 shows where they had to pick, one of those silly things where they have to pick, like, who's the best looking, blah, 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 and they said, who will finish higher in the championship? And they both said Leclerc.
Well, yeah, I do think Leclerc is quicker, but he's a bit erratic. We didn't, he ran wide a couple of times, turn 12. One was a lockup, which would have severely impacted his tyre wear, actually, before the now infamous radio message. But by the way, on that, I think what Leclerc's asking really is a guarded way of saying, shall we pit or not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is
And,
that.
because you don't want to necessarily give that information away on the radio. It's a very clever question that was just not picked up on.
No.
Oh, also, one thing in the commentary I watched, Gasly on the radio at turn 1 said, there's a sandwich.
Yes.
And I think it was David Coulthard who said, he's getting up to speed with the English terminology there. He didn't use the term baguetted.
What?
Very random.
Oh, David. Did Mark Webber say anything daft this week, since it sounds like you watched Channel 4?
Probably.
What did he say at the start? He actually predicted something right before the race. I can't remember what. And he was relatively well behaved, I thought. Yep.
I have to say, I very much enjoyed Jensen Button on
Yes,
He's the best bit about Sky, I think.
Sky.
Yep.
He always sounds happy when he speaks. And, he's actually quite a good pairing for Crofty, for all his flaws.
There you go.
Maybe a Brundle, Button,
that would work nice.
David Addison.
Yeah, he does everything else.
Yeah, why not? I think a three-man booth with a Button. I noticed Brundle seems to be winding down though.
Yeah,
he's not doing as many.
He used to miss 1 or 2 a year, and now he's missing like a third of the season. It seems to be.
Right.
I think with just 23 races, they're even rotating Ted Kravitz and that now. So
yeah,
Simon Lazenby, I think, is taking a bunch off.
Yeah, they seem to rotate between him and Nathy Pinkham and
Karen Chanduk?
No, Rachel.
No, Rachel Brooks.
Rachel Brooks, thank you. Yeah, they seem to rotate, and they're all quite good in their own ways as well.
Yeah, I very much enjoyed JB.
Yes.
Bring him back more. So, teams quickly, 36-point lead for Mercedes. McLaren and Ferrari's down to 7.5 points. Then Alpine and AlphaTauri have 12 points between them. And then, it's pretty much as is, but I don't think that's changing anything but it.
Oh, the Alfa Romeo fight back coming soon.
Did they get a point this week? I don't think.
Nope.
I think
Nope.
they just missed out.
No, but just watch out.
Your man Giovinazzi's found.
He's going to get on the podium.
Right. He's fourth bottom in the championship now. Yeah, 1 point. Ranking into 6. I can't see him keeping it now.
I'm on it.
Gosh.
Well,
I feel you've adopted him as your mascot.
Yeah.
You've adopted Sam Smelt for the.
I have.
Yeah.
It's like the Top Gear dog.
Yeah. Oh dear. Only appears twice, and one of them is sick. And on that note, British Touring Cars.
Yeah.
Yes.
Donington Park, the penultimate race meeting of the season, with
Correct.
3 of the last 6 rounds. Round 25, 6 and 7, I believe.
Ooh.
Qualifying was something that you predicted about 6 race weekends ago, that Gordon Shedden would finally get it right.
Yeah.
And he got pole position.
In the top 10 showdown. Which is I'm still not a fan of.
No.
I'll tell you for why, as soon as we're on a podcast. So you have your normal qualifying session, it's 30 minutes, bog standard. Brilliant. Okay, if you watch qualifying, everybody will know that the rear-wheel drive cars of the BMW and the Infiniti, they go out there from the start and they're on it. And they just go lap after lap after lap, and it takes like 1 or 2 laps, and they're in the zone, and boom, they can just lap for 30 minutes. They might change tyres in the middle of the session, job done. The front-wheel drive cars, they go out, they do 1 or 2 installation laps, weaving, braking, getting heat into the tyres. They come into the pits, they switch the front tyres onto the rear, then they do the whole thing again, and then eventually, like, 5 laps in and a pit stop. They've got enough temperature in, all 4 tyres, to go for it.
Yeah.
If then you say you've only got 10 minutes, then you've only got time for 1 flying lap for a front-wheel drive car. But if you're a rear-wheel drive car, you've probably got time for 4 or 5 flying laps. So I just want to put that theory out there that I think it should still be some sort of 1-lap shootout where you've got time to get enough heat into the tyres and stuff. How you would work that, I'm not sure. But I've come up with half an answer there. But when you watch it, you're like, oh, well, The rear-wheel drive cars are just doing the fastest laps all the time, and then all the front-wheel drive cars have basically got 1, maybe 2 laps right at the end, and they've got to do it in that. It doesn't quite work out like that because I suppose you could go earlier on. But in the top 10 shootout, Cook, for example, had a lap time deleted for track limits, and they ended up 10th, possibly because they didn't have enough time to do enough repeat laps. But Sutton had a lap time deleted, and he did have time to do more laps.
Yeah.
Okay, he didn't qualify at the sharp end. He still qualified 9th, but I still felt there was more time for him to try and make amends, although of course he's on ballast, so he did well to get in the top 10. Anyway, deep breath, rant over.
And top 5 qualifying, I think we're all front-wheel drive cars.
Yep, so that completely negates my argument. Completely.
To be fair, I think you're right for every other weekend apart from this one, where it seems
you have to say that the top 5 cars are quite light.
Yes,
which skews things.
exactly. So Sheridan on pole with Lloyd and Plato, second and third. You pointed out they were starting to go quite well in qualifying recently.
Plato
said they'd found an issue, didn't they?
Oh, yes. Just quickly on Plato. He was purple in Sector 1 right at the end of the session and did come up a little bit on some, not traffic blocking him, but clearly, within a second or two. And he didn't go fastest in Sector 2 or 3. He could have been on pole position there, which would have been a real upset.
Well, yeah, apparently the issue, remember we said before about they have issues with the power?
Yep.
They found an issue which apparently they fixed, where he said if they modulate the throttle even slightly,
yep,
it was making them lose 30% of the boost.
Right.
Whereas that wasn't happening to the other teams. So that explains where some of that power was going. It wasn't the power itself, it's just the boost was dropping off when it shouldn't be.
Yeah, now he also then still said that we've still got the intercooler issues.
Oh,
because obviously they've not redesigned the car. And as we'll come across later on the day, that might explain a few things. But
yes.
Anyway, qualifying was relatively straightforward.
Later on the day, you mean about 20 seconds time when Jason Plato goes from third to nowhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
The one thing...
Did well, though.
Yes, exactly, yeah.
In quali.
Best qualifying result, I think, so far for her.
Yeah.
I think Ash Sutton and that Infinity is not properly ballasted. I'll just say that now.
But if it was...
too good.
Where's Carl Baldley, eh? 28.
Too good. This is what I'm saying. He's too good. Like, there should be more ballast on him because he always qualifies well. Despite,
you can't have a ballast in there just because it's Ashley Sutton. It's like World Superbikes at the minute have put a rev limiter on the Kawasaki's so that Jonathan Rea doesn't win again, and it's a big controversy. It doesn't look good for the championship.
I've seen someone suggest a separate ballast for front wheel and rear wheel drive. I was like, this gets messy.
I don't see it as a rear wheel drive advantage though. I see it as Ash Sutton's just amazing.
Yeah, because he was always just as quick in the MG as well when that wasn't even that good.
And the Clear Cup Championship winner.
Yes.
Don't forget that.
Oh,
Colin.
Yes.
Yeah, my memory goes back that far.
Some disappointing qualifying results from Tom Oliphant.
Yeah, he's disappeared lately.
And Stephen Jelly, one position in front of him. And I would say Moffat, actually. Moffat survived, made a good weekend out of it, but 21st position. In clearly what is the best car in the grid by miles. in air quotes.
It's interesting, actually, in terms of teammates as well, actually, for the championships, main contenders. They haven't really, none of them have really had that much support from their teams. Or, sorry, from their teammates, I should say, not from their teams.
Yep.
No.
If anything, Moffat has been the highest of that lately.
Correct. That's exactly what I was going to say. I think it helped him out a little bit in race 3, was it? Or not helped him out, but was at least in a position to be back up.
Yeah. The BMWs have been nowhere.
No,
recently.
Ingram has a 4-car team, but does he?
Of course.
You never know it.
Of course.
Because his car has a separate livery to all the others, it looks like he's still a 1-car team.
If Josh Cook wasn't excluded from race 2 at Silverstone, and therefore at the back of the minus points and back at the grid with heavyweight for race 3, you could argue that it would still be in contention potentially, and that Proctor would have been able to be in a position to help. But that's not what's happened.
Yes.
So you're right. Yeah. I mean, something's gone weird with Elephant's Head this year.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's out. I wonder if he's gone.
Possibly.
Yeah. Anyway, qualifying. Just quickly as well. 4 corners had track limit pressure pads under the track surface. So when there was a track limit thing, it was automatic and factual. And Tim Harvey was over the moon because after Croft, etc., etc.
Yes.
But it did mean that for 25 minutes of the first 30 minutes of qualifying, everybody's track time got deleted. And it was an absolute nightmare to keep track of anything.
Yeah, 'cause everyone tries to get as much.
Because everybody was over it, yeah.
Mm.
Which, weirdly, did it even come up in the race? Or does anyone have any warning at all? I don't think it did. So I don't know if
there may have been one mention. I seem to remember someone said about a black and white flag, but it was someone down the back of the pack.
It was almost like they just didn't bother in the races, but pure speculation on that. Maybe everyone was well behaved. Certainly, I noticed very specifically Turkington driving slightly different lines over the curbs to most people to try and avoid that.
Yeah,
onwards.
and they got one line.
Yay!
So, race 1, and Gordon Sheridan keeps the lead off the start. Butcher takes third at the old hairpin from Jason Plato, and then Plato disappears into the Eva as everyone overtakes him.
Yeah.
But it's strange, he has more of an issue than Lloyd.
I think his issue at the minute is just maybe if he doesn't feel confident with the car.
Sorry. Sorry. Scotland just scored.
What's the score?
Spoilers.
1-0. Sorry.
Keep that in.
Yeah.
Apologies. Please continue.
That was a raw emotion, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But apologies.
Plato drops back. Yes.
Yeah. Sorry, Jason.
As if he's listening.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were talking about him smashing someone's rear end in the car park last week, and now I'm celebrating him disappearing into the ether.
I can't believe we didn't pun the fact that it's sponsored by a car insurance company. But anyway,
I think he actually turned these tweets into a sponsorship
clever
promotion.
Very clever.
So well done, Jason. Please continue talking.
It just seems to be lacking a bit of sharpness with racecraft at the minute, and he won't like that. So maybe it's just not being comfortable with the car setup in terms of maybe they've got some qualifying speed, but not a sharpness where he feels like he can place it wherever he wants. I don't know, but to me, I was like, Butcher's gone around the outside of him there. When was the last time someone went around the outside of Jason Plato without a nudge or a bump at turn 1, lap 1? Like, he didn't try to run him wide once. That's easy for me to say. And that is what led to Proctor getting past as well.
Yes.
And then he's sort of playing a rear guard defensive thing. It clearly had enough speed to be on the podium, but there was a little spark missing there, I felt. Maybe it's a mental thing as well with arguments over car pace and stuff. I don't know.
Sutton dropped back to 10th. Robot and Smiley had a good little fight in front of Cook and Sutton. And then lap 3, there's contact between Jake Hill and Adam Morgan, which puts Adam Morgan into the wall going up the hill. Hill goes over the gravel, and he can continue, I think.
Yeah, to go to the pits.
The safety car. Yeah. There was, I think he had a puncture, I think they said, after going over the gravel. It was just a weird incident. It was kind of free wide coming up the hill, and Morgan just seemed to go across the front of Jake. I'm saying too many hills, and it's confusing me, so I'm going to say Jake from now on. So yeah, he just kind of comes across the front of Jake, which it just looked all a bit clumsy.
Well, it was Morgan and Ollie Jackson, first of all, through Craner Curves. And Morgan sort of tried to push Jackson towards the right-hand side of the track coming into the old hairpin, which made them both slow through the corner. And then Hill gets up the inside of both of them, and then Morgan does a Tom Chilton from the last meeting and sort of swerves to get out from behind Jackson straight across the front of Hill, is how I read it.
There was no points for that, so licenses or slap wrists or anything, so I think the stewards agreed with that as well. I don't know what the setup is now. This is an interesting thing. I wonder if anyone knows, where I swear the Hondas used to have extra mirrors on the inside of the car because it was like a loophole. I wonder if you're allowed to do that anymore, and if the BMW has it or not.
I'm sure I've seen an onboard at the weekend with a car that had at least 2 rearview mirrors.
Interesting.
But I don't know if they have any more than that. I can't remember who it was on board with, but they definitely had 2.
I specifically remember Jeff Smith used Aidan Moffat. Yeah. I specifically remember Jeff Smith doing some historic racing and then getting thrown out because he used an extra mirror like he did in his Honda touring car. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. What's the mirror setup? And also, that move just was a carbon copy of David Leslie 2003, where he speared across in his Proton in front of his teammate. Thought you'd like that one, Colin. Just put that in there just for you.
Was that Proton Savvy? Because that's the only thing that pops out my head when I hear Proton.
Well,
cars.
it was the Impian, which I always thought was a very unfortunate name for a car because it just reminds me of impotent. And you just don't want that as But it used to be very popular with taxi drivers who convert them to LPG. And anyway, there was a works team, and David Leslie ended up backwards in that same wall. Dear God, I need to get out more.
Yeah.
Your memory for this championship's incredible.
I can't remember anything like that. I need to remember.
Who was the last driver to drive a Proton in the British Touring Cars?
Well, there was Sean Watson-Smith and Farouk Harriman. Is that correct?
Nope.
A Proton. Oh my God.
Only because I was doing a quiz recently and I couldn't remember his name.
Oh, well, that I thought that was it, 2004, last one.
Dan Welch.
Oh, yeah, of course, Derp. Oh,
Yeah.
my God, yeah, and the NGTC rules and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. That's so obvious.
So I just had to
You've
see if
got
I could
me.
get one over on Tom there.
Yeah, you did. Well done. I was... Man. Wow, I would love to have seen that car do well.
Yeah, just the car wasn't very good and neither was Dan.
I've been watching old rallycross videos recently, and his dad was amazing in old rallycross. There you go.
I should be clear, Dan wasn't a bad driver, but he was never a race-winning driver, I don't think.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
But yeah, sidetracked again.
Dan Rowbottom and Josh Cook have a bit of a tangle at the top of the hill going into McLean's. Cook tries to get up the inside. Rowbottom shuts the door as contact. Rowbottom ends up a bit sideways and runs into the gravel. Cook goes through, but the big gain out of this is Ash Sutton, who nicks past them both. Rowbottom then seems to have damage and he starts dropping back through the field. And our resident steward has picked out that Josh Cook got a reprimand and I think 2 penalty points for that.
Yeah.
You don't need push to pass on the hybrid system next year because the drivers do their own push to pass anyway.
Yeah, I do know what you mean. It seems to be coming up a lot.
Nope.
No, yeah, very true. Yeah.
At first, when I watched that, I was like, wow, that's a staunch defence by Rowbottom, right? Because Cook has an overlap at that point, just a small one, and he's going far to the right.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it's after that where I think Cook just biffed the back of him and gone through, but I wouldn't disagree with the penalty. But I would say it was a very strong defence as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Aaron Taylor-Smith then nudges past Jade Edwards through, I think, turn 1.
Brutal, that.
Then, it's quite aggressive. And then Jelly and Osborne try to go side by side through the last chicane, and Jelly ends up going through the gravel and drops behind a couple of cars, including Aaron Moffat, who's having quite a good recovery drive, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Plato is then caught by Sutton, who then has about 7 laps trying to find a safe gap to attack Jason, which often isn't there when those two come together, and ends up just staying behind them till the end of the race.
Yeah, one thing that the TV kept hyping that up a bit. Don't know if you saw the interview we played. They mentioned it in the commentary. Former teammates, and then post race, Louise interviewed Jason like, no, it was pre-race 2. They showed this interview. You had the race with Sutton there. You were teammates before. Of course, both statements completely forgetting Snetterton 2019, which got us all angry, where Jason was like biffing Sutton just clean straight off the track several times. And it's like, forget the fact that they were the teammates in the Subaru. What about when he was in the Vauxhall? And it just was like, nope, you're not having a race today. But yeah, so that's probably why Sutton was a bit wary more than the Subaru days.
I like the way he answered the question as well when they said to him, what's the dynamic between the two of you like? And he answered it by saying, well, if I kept it tight out of Coppice, he just had nothing to beat me with. That wasn't the question. But yeah, he just still managed to make it more about him. But it was actually good to see him get some screen time.
Yeah.
Hasn't had any this year.
We missed it. I missed it.
Oh, one thing to point out as well is that Sutton got fastest lap with maximum ballast for the second race meeting in a row.
Get that extra ballast in there. Get some lead.
Give him an eye patch. You can only race with one eye. We've got to hold him back somehow. This
Yeah.
championship's ridiculous.
Well, it might be in
So
another
what?
car next year. How about that? What do you think?
Ooh. What's is this rumours or is this confirmed?
No, I've literally just read Reddit. It's never good, so don't take this as a fact at all.
Oh, is that in the new Kia?
Oh, yeah, the Kia. Yeah.
Yeah.
Every year there's always a rumour. So Kia are joining this year.
Yeah.
I believe there's some murmurings about BMR separating from Hard. But, do not take that as anything. And we should not bring rumours into this podcast, so I will track that statement immediately. Apologies. Race 2. Apart from when we do a silly season special. That's fine.
Oh, and of course, Sam Smelt was 21st. We can't forget that.
How could I forget?
But yeah.
Oh, I can't believe I forgot that. I feel ashamed. Forget the shambles of an intro. That's the worst part of this podcast. Race 2. But Butcher gets a great start, takes second place into turn 1, and then takes the lead from Sheridan immediately down the hill. Sutton and Ingram get close, and Ingram pounces and easily passes Sutton and is absolutely flying at this point. I don't know if he's on 0 ballast, but he's on very low ballast at this point.
Yep. He's not on the soft tyre, that's for sure.
No.
There's a bit of contact between Josh Cook and Chris Smiley on the back straight, which Smiley ends up half on the grass.
Bad that one. If you watch it back, what the heck is Smiley playing at?
Yeah.
Smiley was a bit of a weapon all weekend, I thought.
Yeah, because
yes.
in race 1 he dive bombed at Old Hall, but it was so desperate he lost like 3 positions from it.
Yeah.
And then there was this, which was a bit like, whoa, he just cooks not completely alongside. He's got a clear overlap.
Yeah.
Smiley just keeps turning right. It's like, what the heck?
There's been a few instances with Smiley recently where it just cuts to him, and I think even the last race or the race before, the commentators were kind of hinting towards be careful when you go near him.
Yeah. And keep using words like robust and things like that.
So yeah, I thought, strange.
Plato got
Calm
biffed
down,
off at
Chris.
turn 1 as well, didn't he, in this one?
Yes, by Smiley.
Oh! I feel like he was already kind of in that position, though, because I think Plato gave Sutton a wide berth, which is a bit weird. But then Smiley just comes in and goes, bang!
Yeah.
It's like, oh, wow. And that was the last we saw of Jason, because he was 18th. I think he was in 17th, fell to 18th, and that was it. And then I don't know where he finished in race 3, probably about the same. He just couldn't make any progress.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, weird. Anyway, I digress. On with the race, sorry.
Ingram takes Tuckerton for 5th, and then Shenmue takes the lead at the whole hairpin.
Oh, that was a lovely move.
Wasn't it? Yeah, that was old Shedden.
It was. And
On his brother-in-law.
Yeah. Butcher even said as well that he didn't see it coming at all, and it was a nice move that he couldn't do anything about. And that was also with maximum ballast.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point, yeah.
Yeah, but we're not giving Sheridan eye patches after the season he's had.
No. I just thought it was a very nice move to pull off.
Yeah, it was.
Ballast.
He had it didn't even look like a huge run on him. And then, wow, it was late but controlled.
Yeah.
And that was the key thing to that.
Ingram then took Proctor at the chicane. I missed a knee there. And then gets Lloyd, I think, on the next lap on the back straight.
Commentary's just hyping him up at this point. He's got 12 laps to get to the lead. I mean, they were right, to be fair.
Yeah, they were. Tuckerton then took Lloyd at the chicane and tried to catch Rory Butcher.
Superb move. I really liked that move. That was a classy Turkington move. He set up the defence and got the lovely cutback. Taking out Chris Smiley.
Poor Chris.
Yeah, sorry,
no,
Chris.
not poor Chris. No. I'm going to stop apologising for criticising people.
Yeah.
If you've been a tube, I'm going to call you a tube for that one. So, Cook then pushed his way past Ollie Jackson. Jake Hill's recovering up to 12, so he's up 5 places at this point. Lap 10, and then Tom Ingram takes the lead on the back straight. The camera just cuts to him as he's alongside on the straight.
Clean move.
And
amazing move.
As far as we know, it's a completely clean move. Might as well cover it now. Ingram wins the race, and then loses the win about an hour and a half later.
Yeah.
For a push to pass, because apparently he's touched the back of Shedden into
Coppice.
Yeah.
that one. And that's how it was, push Shedden wide and giving them the overlap. What Ingram has said is that Shedden braked early, parked his car on the apex, and made sure that there was contact.
Interesting.
And
this is why we need to see footage.
Yeah.
Please, someone.
There is
anyway.
So there is footage.
They did show it in between races.
This is why I need to go watch between races.
Yeah. So
when did they show
it? Build up to race 3, I think it was.
Yeah.
Right. Apologies.
So there is contact. It doesn't look like it's enough to be classified as a push to pass for me.
Right.
There's a little rub, and if Shedden has initiated it by pulling a Tom, moving over, parking on the apex, then
I've got all the moves. What, I park on the apex, I do the late dives. Come on, what is it?
You're the best driver among us. So yeah, if he is kind of trying to initiate it, then it's quite clever on his part to do that, because it's got him the race win back. But I just didn't think there was enough to classify that as a push.
I'm going to spend my evening now watching unskippable ads on ITV Hub to get to the point.
It was, I think, pretty much right at the build-up of the race 3.
Right, I'll queue it up after this podcast. Apologies.
Yeah, it was dubious for a penalty. There's also the fact that Shedden was carrying maximum ballast, so he is going to have to brake earlier than Ingram. But, yeah, it's such a marginal tap.
It's not a heavy braking zone.
If they didn't give a penalty, would anyone have noticed?
Well, no. I was very surprised when it came up.
Yeah, but also...
Because even Shedden says he felt bad about getting the win, which I don't really believe. It might be PR speak, but he says he felt bad about getting it in that circumstance.
In the post-race interview, though, he did mention it got biffed out the way. What did he say? I got a bump.
Yes, he did.
He did. During the race, it only showed like the after effect. Apart from once, they very briefly showed an angle where it looked like there was a slight rub when he's through. Now, if that's actually what the contact is, that is very, very weird penalty.
Yeah, especially considering some of the, should we say, historic moves that have been going in the touring cars. Matt Neal would be one.
So you're saying it's the hypocrisy of the now team manager for complaining about such a move?
Not necessarily. It's just, I mean, he's the one that comes to mind when I think of Brands Hatch. And I can never remember the name of the last corner at Brands Hatch Indy, but Matt Neal was famous for just a little tap on the way in.
I think it's been renamed Neil Curve, hasn't it? It should be.
Yeah.
Clear ways.
There was even a few instances watching this over the weekend, watching it back, where I thought that's more of a push to pass than anything that Ingram did there, and it got away.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, very strange.
Right.
So Shedden gets the win. Turkington and his fight with Butcher does the fastest lap, and he's closing right in.
Oh yeah.
And
what the heck?
Then I think it was like lap maybe 12 or 13, maybe. It was getting close to the end.
Yeah.
He gets close to Butcher, tries to take a lot of the inside curb at the old hairpin to give him an overlap going up the hill. Takes far too much curb and spins in a very un-Turkington-like manner.
He was very close to Butcher. Butcher took more of the curb than I think he normally would. And Turkington, behind, I think, tried to take more of it, and it just put him off. But it was Turkington's mistake.
I'd agree with that. He was right in there, wasn't he, and pushing really hard. That was the moment, though. Championship to fight. Well, it got him the race 3 win.
Yeah.
So
he got lucky with that.
It did. Well, conspiracy time. As the TV broadcast was saying, Jody Kidd, who was a guest of BMW that weekend, pulled out the 11.
Yeah.
Which obviously I don't buy into, and no one buys into really. But it was quite funny.
I mean, she wasn't even looking at the thing. But I do think, why do they allow people who have some kind of potential bias to actually do the draw?
Like Alan Gow.
Yeah, Alan Gow or the race winner, you know?
Yeah.
I'll do it. Can we do it? Can we sponsor the reverse grid draw? The Final Corner podcast does the reverse grid draw. Thanks.
Yeah. Or get one of the old Camelot machines from the original lottery. It's Guinevere.
Have you ever seen the video of Rod Stewart doing the Scottish Cup?
Yes.
No.
Is he drunk?
He is hammered.
Yes.
We should just wheel him along to every British Touring Car event, get him smashed up, and get him to do it every week.
I'll have to watch that now.
Yeah,
Again.
that would do.
He is absolutely bloated.
What word was that?
Bloated.
Bluttered.
Bloated.
Blizzard?
Blooterd.
I don't know, it sounded almost like Bluetooth as well.
He's smashed.
Yeah.
He's tanked up. He's
Trolleyed.
had too many Sherberts. Trolleyed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember any.
But yeah,
other.
that would be great.
Yeah.
And in the excitement of Turkington spinning as well, I noticed that Sutton was then up to fourth.
Right.
He managed to pass Dan Lloyd, and you could see when Turkington span, Lloyd had to back off slightly, which is where Sutton got the run on him, and he passed him on the exit of McLean's. He got the undercut.
So many times this race meeting and last race meeting, other people have tripped over themselves, and Sutton has been the benefactor. Yeah. And there's an element of luck. There's also an element of good judgment.
Yeah, just
especially
good racecraft.
Yeah, exactly. Like when was it race 1? Cook and Bottom and everybody's clashing into each other. Sutton gained positions in that, and here's another one here. I also noticed in this race, he didn't come alive till halfway through, right, when the field was a bit more spread out, because there's a bit more room to overtake. I thought that was quite clever as well.
Yeah, I mean, he dropped back to, what was it, 10th at one point?
Something like that, yeah.
Made his way back up to 4th.
Chipped his way up, yep. That's not even an expression. Chipped his way back up. It's better than blathered or whatever you said.
Bloated. Oh dear. Adam Morgan didn't make it for the race, I don't think.
No, he didn't.
No.
However, the race 1 classification showed 29 cars, and race 2 also says 29 on it.
Oh.
Even though Adam Morgan wasn't there.
Weird.
Unless he came out during the race at some point, just for a one lap. I know Hamilton got in the race. He didn't make the grid, but he did make the pit lane start.
In race 3, Morgan was in the formation lap, wasn't he? But then pulled in, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, nothing else was mentioned on that, so I don't know what actually happened.
It was a big shunt.
Yeah,
so.
it was.
Yep. So, race 3, Colin Turkington on pole, gets a great start, and wins the race, basically. No one's near him. The
Textbook.
You are forgetting one more thing, though.
Oh dear. Oh, I forgot him again. No. No, Colin. I'm having a nightmare.
He was 22nd in race 2.
Oh, not bad.
And also, Dan Rowbottom claimed the Jack Sears Trophy.
Oh, yeah, I had that down as well, yeah. He did. The Jack Sears Trophy, which is for Colin.
The non-podium sitting rookie driver.
Correct. Yeah, I'll give you that. Yep.
Which he wasn't that bothered about winning, apparently, when he was interviewed on it.
No.
Like, well done on receiving the Jack Sears. And he's like, yeah, it's nice, but, don't really care.
Yeah, but you can guarantee it's at the front, the first bullet point in every sponsor pitch deck for next season.
True.
Reigning Jack Sears Trophy champion. Oh, right.
Yeah. So you're going to win it again this year?
Well, the thing is...
No. Well, it depends if they change the rules for it, which I think they've done about 20 times.
Oh, yeah, true. It'll be the person who uses the least hybrid energy next year.
Did you see Tom Chilton being interviewed on the formation lap as well?
Oh, no, I didn't.
No.
When they sometimes talk to the drivers as they're going round. And he was very honest about it when he said that he's really struggled to get on top of the rear-wheel drive car. He said he's loving driving it, but he just can't drive it quickly.
Right.
And he also said that he doesn't like doing the warm-up lap because he genuinely gets car sick and all the weaving around makes him feel ill.
Oh. He has to weave more than a front-wheel drive, maybe.
Well, no, just in general.
Oh, right.
Throughout his career, he's always got car sick while doing weaving on the formation laps.
That's never a good start to the race, is it?
No.
That is some great insight there.
Yeah.
I feel his pain.
Yes.
I'm not a good passenger either.
Well, you're not supposed to be a passenger as a race driver, so...
Very true. But that's not when I get car sick, when I'm a passenger. Or I'm drunk on the back of a bus.
Maybe that's Tom Chilton's fault. He's too drunk.
he's both up before the race. Oh dear, poor Tom. He's not a great year at all, has he? We've pointed out a few times.
I just hope I think he could do well, and Morgan. I just think they need to stick at it for another year of another winter of testing. But Oliphant and Jelly haven't been good either, really. So it's clear that the Turkington is a good driver there. But anyway, like Sutton, let's put weight in it. It's rear-wheel drive.
Yeah. So back to race 3.
Oh yeah, stabbed rats.
Sutton gets pushed out wide onto gravel by Ingram for the exit turn 1 and drops back up a little bit. Sam Smelt and Buttel Maget, according to my notes, Jack Buttel get in the drama. Don't know what happens, but there's Sam Smelt sideways at one point, and then there's a safety car.
Smelt and Boardley came together first. And
yes, correct.
I think then Smelt went into Buttel. I'm not sure.
Boldly smashes into Smelt, who's then sideways across the track.
That's it, yes.
Oh, as the commentary said, "Oh, did Smelt lose it on his own?" Thought it was a bit harsh, to be honest. But
yeah,
I'm not calling these things. I had the benefit of being able to rewind it twice. So
yeah,
bit of a messy one. A lot of car damage. Safety cars out.
Yeah.
Yep. Restart. Sutton's fighting back against Ingram, and it all gets really tight at the back as Goff and Plato have a bit of a fight. At this point, I realised that Jason Plato has dropped back from third to absolutely nowhere.
Yeah, well, I thought there was a moment where everybody was in 15th. Going down the credit curves, I thought this is a massive crash, but it wasn't. Although Chilton had a bit of a moment at one point, but it was hard to see if he got pushed. But it was exciting.
It definitely was.
At this point, we find out about false start penalties for Dan Rawbottom, who's sitting second, I think, at this point. Dan Lloyd, who's sitting in the top 10, and then Nick Hamilton, who's in that pack at the back, with fighting. So 5 seconds for each of them. They showed a replay of the start, and it didn't look like Rawbottom jumped to start. He got a really poor getaway. It's like he bogged down. So whether he was out of position or not, I don't know if that's been clarified.
I think they said on commentary that they think it must have been for out of position, but I wish they would say that the penalty was for out of position start rather than full start.
Also, because what the heck was the leaderboard table doing?
Oh, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
It was applying the penalty mid-race and then getting to the next timing line and unapplying it.
People kept disappearing. I was watching was it Ingram Sutton battle, and neither of them on the leaderboard. I have no idea what positions it's for. But then when they went through sector 2, it updated again. It was bizarre. Josh Cook went missing at one point. I thought, oh, he's had a moment. Oh no, wait a minute, it's just the position timer tower.
Rowbottom's one, his penalty was showing up on the leaderboard, but Dan Lloyd's wasn't. So it kept showing Dan Lloyd as being ahead of Rowbottom when he wasn't.
Right.
It was very
weird.
annoying.
Yeah, very annoying. I don't know. Well, they hopefully ITV and TSL Timing can work together on the issues there, which we had earlier on in the season, then looked to be rectified, but today they reared the head again. But at the same time, also, maybe do we need to look at how the cars line up on the grid? Can't we just go back to where they were allowed to put their wheels up to the line? Now it has to be By the way, actually, this reminded me, race 1. Do the cars not have to be in position at the back of the grid? Does it not matter?
Yeah, I saw that. It's just like we're sort of near our grid position.
Nick Hamilton and Baldy parked at Brands Hatch.
Yeah. Baldy in particular was like 2 car lengths behind his grid stop.
What the heck was that about? And the guy's just waving the green flag. Perfect.
Yeah.
Nothing to see it.
That'll do.
I agree. Yeah, the rules just daft now.
It's a bit weird.
Yeah. Change it back. Lap 11 and Jake Hill gets past Rawbottom for second at the top of the hill going into McLean.
Tried a few times, didn't he?
Yeah.
Rawbottom then tries to cut across to block Cook into the next corner. Cook's already got his nose kind of up the inside, and there's a basically a repeat of the previous incident where Rawbottom ends up sideways, Cook ends up over the inside curb, and those shenanigans allow another Infinity go past. This time it's Aidan Moffat to take third.
Nice move from Moffat. Learning
from his teammate.
Yeah, pretty messy though, wasn't it, before that?
Yeah.
This one's probably a bit over aggressive from Robot.
I think so.
Yes.
If anyone. The previous one I thought was more 50-50 or more to Cook, but this one's definitely on
I'm
Robot.
glad there was no penalty for that.
So lap 12, Sutton gets past Ingram finally into McLean's with a nice move.
Yep.
But he's now 8 seconds, I think it was, behind the next nearest person. So
Yeah,
Ingram
because
did a very good job there.
Ingram holds him up for the whole race.
Yeah.
His full max defence, which is quite enjoyable to watch. And this is also the point where David Anderson realises it's his 201st race for Stephen
I'm
Gilly.
glad I wasn't the only person to pick up on this.
Well, yeah, what did you have it down as?
Was it because he says that this is now his 201st race because we missed it in the 200th race. So this is our 201st serving of jelly.
There we go.
It's like,
Very good.
But the key takeaway from that, apart from is that even a pun? Is that Jelly didn't exactly help Turkington there, did he?
No.
Because he was behind Sutton for several laps when Ingram was being very slow and he wasn't able to pull off a move past Sutton, while Sutton was also trying to pull off a move past Ingram. And if you really want to be good enough to help your teammate out, send it.
Yeah. Or at least
Smash
have
the
a
boy.
bit of a go. Stick your nose out.
Yeah, something. Nothing, I didn't see anything there.
No.
It did make a nice move on Ingram eventually, though, but it was far too late.
Last bit of action I had noted was Smiley and Sam Osborne side by side for the old hairpin.
Yeah.
And Osborne gets pushed out wide and drops, I think, 3 or 4 places down to 18. So another aggressive
robust.
move from Smiley.
Yeah, it was.
And
But he was always going to go off there because you can't go around the outside of the old hairpin, especially on Chris Smiley.
no. The autocorrect in my notes is mad, so I've had a hard time reading through it. That one says, Smiley and Osborne said eBay side this, the old hairpin. So
It's close enough.
apologies if there's been any mistakes.
Autocorrect. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. So that's all I have from race 3. You guys got anything else you want to pick up?
Just that Turkington got the fastest lap for this race and for the last race. So he got 2 fastest laps out of this.
Ooh. And for me, it wasn't the race start that necessarily won him. It was the amazing safety car restart, which he was just miles ahead of everybody while they're all half asleep. Expertly done.
Proctor and Edwards both retired with a problem in this one.
Yeah, they both come into the pits on the same lap, but I wasn't sure why.
I think Edwards went back out and then came back in.
Right.
Or either lost a couple of laps behind, but I think she got back in.
Yeah, she's classified as 2 laps down there, so...
Aaron Morgan apparently got back out, but didn't see him.
Yeah. He's finished on the lead lap as well. I'm wondering if he came into the pits and then went back out and then the safety car bunched him up again.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah. Rick Parfitt and Jack Mitchell, 21st, 22nd, apparently got reprimands or warnings after the race, but I didn't see what
One
happened.
second, I don't know what was going on there.
And Jason Plato got 15th. He got a point.
Oh, he got a point. Yeah, true. Didn't go anywhere though, did he? Really? Started 18th, was it? That's not really. He had no ballast in the car this time, so it's a bit sad. It's a bit sad.
Yeah, in a car that qualified third.
Yeah, it's weird. It's definitely weird. I wonder if he'll be in that car next year. I mean, we're getting towards the end. Maybe we do silly season grid predictions after the final round as an episode or something.
That should be interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, our review episode from last year's championship was still our highest downloaded episode.
There we go.
So we feel your appetite, listeners.
Yeah.
We'll serve it up pretty soon. Championship
has been won. Congratulations.
Yes. So I think what was your rule of thumb, Tom? 40 points.
Yeah,
It was
but
going
within
into the one before, wasn't it?
exactly. Yeah. With there's 2 rounds
So
left.
what's your rule of thumb for the last
No, I
round
don't have
then?
one.
There are
So-
5 drivers in contention.
But there aren't.
But one of them is ridiculously not in contention because he has to win and get fastest lap and
Pole.
leading laps and pole.
Well, Ash Sutton doesn't get any points.
Yes, so yeah, Josh Cookie's out of it totally.
But mark my words, that is the opening.
Yeah,
to
5
the
will be in
TV show.
contention because he can win by 1 point if all of that stuff happens,
Wow.
and none of the other drivers in the
bearing
championship
in mind,
do anything either.
He's only 7 points behind both Hill and Ingram.
Yeah.
So they're all out of it. It is only
Basically.
Turkington, but it's only just. It is only just. What's the gap, Colin?
The gap is 32 points between Sutton and Turkington.
It's doable. It's extremely unlikely, but it is doable if Sutton has an absolute stinker. Doesn't qualify well, gets taken out in the first race, something like that. But I can't see it happening.
Brands Hatch with the dodgy first sector. Anything can happen there, but Sutton's been so clean this year.
Yeah.
I can't even remember him having a DNF.
Oh, I can't either. Let's fact check that while you talk about the points. Oh no, but
yeah.
Colin's on that. Nick. So you get 20 points. You get 20 points for a win. And what's the gap again? 30 odd.
32, I think it was.
Yeah, so it's definitely possible with a DNF, but that's assuming that Turkington wins, and he's got second ballast going to qualifying. That's no mean feat. Plus, is it Indy layout?
No,
Grand
Prix.
Grand
It's
Prix.
the Grand Prix layout.
Grand
this time.
Prix layout. Sorry. Oh, okay. I mean, it's possible. It's possible, but it's over in my opinion. Game, set, and match. It just takes race one for Sutton to finish in like 9th and Turkin to finish in 5th, and then all he has to do is just finish the races. Easier said than done. It is the finale. Let's all remember Andy Jordan in 2013. He spiced it up, right? So what am I going to say? I'm going to predict that Sutton wins it, but it's taken out of race 2. So it goes down to the final race. How about that for conspiracy theory? And it's going to be taken out by Carl Baldley.
Jason Plato. That's what the commentators seem to think will happen.
No, that's not going to happen.
So Ash Sutton has had one retirement this year.
Oh, where was it?
Alton Park Race 3. And that is the only time he's not finished in the points.
I can't remember where that was.
Yeah, can I?
In fact, he's only finished outside of the top 10 twice, apart from that retirement as well.
Wow.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah.
But 4 wins, 4 other podiums. So yeah, 4 wins, 2 seconds, 2 thirds. And then just consistent points everywhere else.
Goodness me. Well, it's a deserving champion.
Elect.
No. It's done.
Yeah. I still think he's too good for the series.
I agree with that.
Nobody's been near him this year.
I'd love to see him in something else, but it's easier said than done.
You think about everyone else. Jake Hill was his closest challenger for a while, and he chucked it in the wall at Knockhill. Josh Cook has had some horror shows and a disqualification, which probably
That was a kicker.
was a bit harsh. Turkington, that spin race too. He's just been not that consistent this year. Ingram, inconsistent again. So yeah, he's the best. I'd be shocked if he doesn't win it.
What makes it, I think, is he can pull out a top 10 with 75 kilos, is it?
Yeah.
That's the key this season. And that's where the arguments will be behind the scenes, I'm sure, about rear-wheel drives carrying the weight better.
Yeah, it did last year as well, and I think that's why they upped it. But it's not really made a difference.
The thing is, it was the same with every car he's driven. He's always been good with the weight or without. He just seems to be able to adapt.
Yep. So, in a way, I almost want him to go to a different car next year to prove it again. It doesn't need proving, but people need to be shut up, certainly. Something like Australian supercars, something like that. But you can't get out to Australia at the minute, so no chance.
No. Well, as we got the last race coming up, I thought this, if you have time, very quickly, the predictions we made at the beginning of the season.
Oh.
Yeah, go on.
See if you can actually remember any of these. So, the overall champion.
I said Gordon Shen, I believe.
I said Ingram.
You did, and I said Shedden.
We're all wrong.
We're all totally wrong. Teams champion.
BMR, I think.
BMW.
BMW, sorry.
Did I say
What did
BMW?
I?
We all did.
Oh, right. Well, we're out of that as well.
Yep.
Which is rare for them, but that's only because Oliphant and Jelly have not been very good.
Yes.
Time for change.
And then we have the Independence title. And we forgot to actually cover this in our predictions. So
I don't know who's independent or not, so...
yeah, that one didn't happen.
Is it everybody apart from Butcher?
Pretty much. But the Jack Sears trophy.
Oh.
This is the one for third podium positions and blah, blah, blahs, right?
Yep.
I think that I said... I think I might have said... Was it Rowbottom I said?
Nope.
No?
No.
Alright, I have no idea then.
I don't think you
Sam
even
Smelt.
guess who you thought you said, to be honest.
Alright, probably not.
Sam Osborne.
Did I?
Yep.
Alright, fair enough.
I think I probably agreed with him.
No, Tom was even more wrong.
Oh, did I say Glengetty?
You did go for Glengetty.
That lasted long.
Yeah. I went for Rowbottom.
Oh, did you?
Well done.
Nick. Yep.
And the
bloody
Wingfoot Award, who cares, next.
So contender, do we say?
We all actually had different ones for this.
Oh.
Because it was the most overtakes, wasn't it?
Mm.
And
Is that what it is? It's average qualifying, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, it is. It was the most overtakes the year before. So, yeah, average qualifying. And we've got Butcher for Colin.
Oh, well, he's in second at the minute. I don't know if he's got a chance, but...
Jake Hill for Tom.
He's in third.
And I don't know why I picked Dan Lloyd. Pre-season, I actually thought he was going to have a good year.
Because you were thinking of overtakes, probably.
Probably was, actually.
He's had a good second half of the season. But
in your defence, when he drove the Eurotech, I don't know if it was called Eurotech at the time, the Jeff Smith Civics, he did stick it on the front row a couple of times, didn't he?
Yeah.
I think that's probably where you get it from.
The other things that we predicted was who would get the BTC drive full time.
Yeah.
Senna Proctor got it, but I can't remember who I said.
You and me both chose Proctor, Colin.
Oh.
And Tom didn't even commit to a name. He just said some GT driver who'll be new to the series.
I'm glad I was wrong on that one.
Yeah. And then we had the first retirement was another prediction we made.
What's that, Anthony?
No. You and Tom, or should I say Colin and Tom? That's why I say you when I'm talking to both of you.
Yeah.
Both said Cook. And I went for Glengetty.
What was the answer to that? How do you find that out?
Chris Smiley was the first retirement.
Sorry, Josh.
Makes sense at the end of the season because he's been driving at the start of the year. Yeah.
And I'm now curious what you're going to say for this one, Colin, but the biggest house of the year.
It was either Jason Plato or Anthony.
Yes, well,
I think I say Jason Plato.
I clarified it by going Plato for media and Neat for driving standards.
Well, I wouldn't disagree with that.
Plato's not really done much media because nobody's been bothered about him.
So I'm thinking, who would you actually say was the biggest house of the year so far?
And then Andy did have some dodgy driving standards.
Yeah.
But then
and he attacked a team manager.
He did. Oh, God. Yeah, Anthony's won that.
Yeah.
I can't think of anyone else.
Yeah, that covers our predictions for the year.
That was good fun.
You sent around an Anthony interview, didn't you? I need to watch that.
Yeah, I mean, this is on the British Touring Car YouTube channel. Huzzah!
Yeah.
And I still like the Ingram Shedden footage on there, though. And this is talking quite open and honest, and it's quite. You forget he's got like a back made of metal, and he's got his son racing in Formula 4 on the same weekends.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, oh, well, and his mates with James Thompson, and you're like, oh, well, fair play. It still doesn't make what he does on the track sometimes out of anger acceptable.
Yeah.
But he's talking about age, and he's older than you think, and that house, that dampens some of his reaction times and stuff, and it's quite interesting, so check that out. Obviously we are critical. We do it from a place of passion and slightly from jest, right? And it's constructive feedback, I like to think, sometimes.
Yeah.
Yes, calling him a house was constructive
Yes,
feedback.
exactly. Exactly. And he's taken that on board, and he's done a very interesting interview. It's
The
still,
interview was quite interesting.
yeah,
I have to say.
it still approached Russell Morgan after Silverstone race in a slightly different manner, and so it's all alleged. But well, it's not really. We just don't know how it happened. But
Yeah.
I still think though he's only, he said 47, and Matt Neal and Jason Plato are both a fair bit older than that, and are both still racing at the sharp end when they were both racing. So I'm not sure about the age thing so much.
No, I didn't. Yeah. It's not. Is he saying it as an excuse? I suppose he kind of is, but I still thought it was honest to admit to it.
Yes.
But there's no other YouTube exclusive stuff. But we'll save that rant for the end of year podcast again.
Yes.
Yeah. So in 2 weeks' time, we'll have the United States Grand Prix from Circuit of the Americas,
Good.
and is it Austin, Texas, or
Just outside, I think.
Yeah, the safe haven for all the world's podcasters and comedians at the moment. As
We're all there
everyone's
getting COVID, passing it around,
not paying income tax.
not paying
so-
income tax. Yep.
Yeah, because you moved because of COVID regulations, not the fact that there's 0%
Oh, that's
income
just
tax.
that's coincidental. Yep.
As you've just signed a $100 million Spotify deal.
We naming no names.
Rogan. And in 2 weeks' time, we've also got the finale of the British Touring Car Championship. So I think what we'll do is probably round up those events and then do a separate season
Oh
review.
my word, that's come quick, and we were supposed to be going, and I've
Yeah.
not sorted it out yet.
Oh, I'm not going.
Oh, you're not?
The championship's over and I'm skint. So,
Oh
Yeah, money is a main issue, I think, at this time of year.
man,
yeah.
I got the little recorder for out and about. Could have done it live.
Oh, dear. To be honest, I did a actual look this week to see if I can come down, and I might still do it. But
Right, let's talk off air. Let's work.
we'll talk
let's
off air
work it
about
out.
that.
It's late,
Yeah.
so another day.
Yeah, so we'll do the review episode in 2 weeks' time, and then we'll do a season in review of everything and all things.
Yeah, sounds good.
Sounds
Can't
good.
remember how we did it last year, but it was obviously popular, so we'll revisit that.
Trying
and
to
do
remember 30 odd races is no mean feat.
Yeah.
that. Yes.
I don't know why I said
yes.
30 odd. It is just 30.
Unless you want to talk about support races. Yeah. Yeah, so I think that'll do it this week from me and from you guys.
No, that's all from me.
I think we've gone on long enough.
Yep. And the intro that you hear will likely be re-recorded
Ah.
or something different, because that was a shambles of a beginning to this podcast. But what you hear will be semi-professional. So we'll see you again in 2 weeks' time. Thank you for downloading. We're on Twitter at Final Corner Pod, but no one follows us. And I'm on Twitter at Bar66. Tom is,
At Tom H. Lord.
and Nick is.
I think it's at Manor House.
That's how do you spell that?
Oh, I'm not telling you.
But the main thing I think is follow on Spotify and subscribe on iTunes if you want to, get the latest drop when the latest episode airs. Because we're not on a regular schedule, right? Because we're just doing it in evenings. So
Yeah, just
that's the best way of following us.
Yep, and yeah, we're breaking milestones every week.
There we
Fastest
go.
fastest growing motorsport podcast
In Scotland.
shot out of in Scotland.
in Falco.
I don't. Yeah. I need to check if there's actually another podcast in Scotland about motorsport, but that might be factual. So yeah, give us a subscribe, and we'll see you in 2 weeks' time for Kota and Brands Hatch Grand Prix.
Yep.
God, even the exits terrible this week. So.
You have to bleep out that, otherwise we have to put guidance on the podcast uploader thing.
I've been saying house for the last 20 minutes.
Oh,
so I think,
yeah.
I did.
I
wonder
think I
about
might
that,
need
but
to bleep that. So.
We did start the year with it.
Yeah, very true. So yeah,
Right.
goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.